You are now tuned in to Go Time Dolphins with Charlie Touche and Kadeem Simmons, the Miami Dolphins podcast that's for the fans and by the fans.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. Go. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Go. Don't waste no time.
So we've been really good in terms of timekeeping. We had a formula. Long-term listeners of Go Time Dolphins know that Charlie and I would get the time difference, not even the time difference wrong, but we get times wrong and stuff like that. So, peek behind the curtain, I am half an hour late to this episode. And the reason that is because Charlie and I said normal time. Normal time is 11 p.m. for me. But obviously the clocks changed last week. So it should be 10 for me this week. And then from Sundays back to 11. That's why I'm late. I am genuinely sorry that I forgot that we're going at 10 instead of 11. So I can't apologize enough for, I guess, keeping you waiting. Outside of that, how are you?
I'm not gonna lie, Kadeem. I'll be late like 2-3 minutes. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, all right, Kadeem, I'm running behind. I'm at work. And sometimes I have to cancel, like, hey, man, I ain't gonna make it today. You know what I'm saying? But Kadeem had me over here waiting for like 30 whole minutes. I'm just in the room. Like, where's this guy at? Talking about, I thought we said the normal time. I'm like, I guess he's just trying to accumulate all the minutes that I was late into one late arrival. And just, well, I was calculating, I was being petty, and he's been late a whole 30 minutes total in the past 3 years. So I'm gonna take my whole 30 minutes today. But hey, Kadeem, that's what you want to do. That's what you want to do. It's Go Time Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins podcast that goes not only across the pond but across the world. I'm your boy Charlie Touche. Got my co-host Kadeem Simmons with me. It's always for the fans and by the fans. Your favorite podcast. We got a lot going on, Kadeem.
It's Go Time Dolphins.
What's going on here? Yeah, a lot going on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
hey,
there's
little peek behind the curtain, like my dog would say. But yeah, man. Got a lot of stuff, bro. I ain't gonna lie, I'm pretty excited, man. What are you most excited about and the things that happened the past 2 days? What are you most excited about?
It sounds weird, but one of the things I'm most excited about is the re-emergence of Salty Tua. So Tua in his midweek press conference was asked something along the lines of, his progression so far this season. And he mentioned the deep ball and how, he somehow developed the deep ball, and not just some Tua haters, but the media lost their mind over this. We're just like, he needs to eat some humble pie. He's done nothing. He's won nothing. I think Tua also mentioned something about the Super Bowl, and everyone was just like, you spent the last 2 years saying the guy can't throw deep, the guy's not fit to play yet. Like, every single narrative that they've used to diminishes Tua as starts in the NFL. And all the guy said was, the roster we've built can win a Super Bowl and I can throw a deep ball. And all of a sudden, everyone's like, nope, you can't say that. You have to say that once you won multiple rings. So I'm most excited for Salty Tua to come out slinging the rock against the Bears after a great performance against the Lions and continually proving that, he belongs to be the face of the franchise as the Miami Dolphins quarterback.
Well, my quarterback can be confident. You know what I'm saying? Like, can my quarterback be a little confident? Like, hey, everybody else afraid to talk about Super Bowls. You know what's funny, Kadeem? Everybody wants to, I just want to take it one game at a time. We got the Bears this week, so we're just going to go in the Soldier Field and play the best game. Coach McDaniel is going to lead us to he's putting together a nice little game plan for us, and I just trust Coach to put us in the right position. That's what y'all want, right?
Yeah.
Or when Coach McDaniel's talking, everyone's like, well, now people on I want to say it's like the haters. It's just the haters. The haters will find something. So now they don't like when Coach McDaniel cracks jokes or is he's just a loquacious dude. You know what I'm saying? Put that one in your vocabulary, Kadeem. So he's a loquacious dude, pretty intelligent, I would say. You know what I'm saying? And he talks his football. But he's not the average coach. He's entertaining. You know what I'm saying? So now people are the haters are like, oh, he's doing too much. And why can't you just answer the question without cracking a joke? So again, we're gonna go back to so I guess y'all just want the regular coach. Yeah, we're just gonna go into Chicago, got a nice little game plan. We're trying to get healthy. Can't wait to get a couple players back, but no one's healthy yet. So, everyone's around the league is dealing with injuries. So it makes the Dolphins no different. That's the type of coach I want, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, just answer the questions. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now.
Not just that. They want the coach who, we played the 1-5 Lions, who, again, we said that they were better than their record. They were playing better than their record, even though the record, is who they were. You kind of want the coach to turn around and go, we respect the Lion. They do some really good things well, all that kind of stuff. And it's like, you don't believe that. Like, you don't believe what you're saying. Again, as a journalist, the one thing I hate is, the over media trained, narrative, not even narrative, over the way teams, players, coaches have over media trained their players. You ask them a really good question, and it's basically what you said. You can copy and paste what you just said week in, week out, and you hear it across every team, across every sport. We have players who are showing some character, showing some life, and in Tua's case, essentially hit him back at the way he's been treated over the past 2 years. And everyone's like, no, you can't have that. Can't do that. That's not allowed.
You know what else is not allowed, Kadeem?
What's that?
What's that word I'm looking for? Man, I just dropped loquacious on your boys now. I can't find the word for myself. Anyway, I would not tolerate slander. All right. I'm not going to tolerate slander. And this was an episode that a lot of people were waiting for. And they wanted an update on the trades, update on contracts, update on this, update on that, man. I can't wait to listen to Go Time Dolphins and see what they got to say about the state of the Dolphins and what our roster looks like moving forward. We're going to get to all that. But we've had some time to digest some stuff. You know what I'm saying? We had a couple of days to digest the trade deadline, and I don't want to go too far backwards. Just want to keep it fresh with fresh content. I'm pretty sure everybody checked out a lot of platforms and got their information. But we appreciate y'all rocking with us and wanting to hear our takes. But the slander that I will not allow is about our quarterback. When I say they, I'm talking about the social medias of the world, the haters. Oh, well, he's only performing now because X, Y, and Z. Like, forget the fact that he's first in almost every major quarterback stat there is in the NFL. And if he's not first, he's probably third in every major quarterback stat in the NFL. When I'm talking about every major quarterback stat, I'm like, every major quarterback stat, he's first or third in it. But then you have people hit you with the, well, nah, he's only performing because of yak now, the yak yardage. Well, shout out the King of Finland, because I just told LB today, I don't have it in me. I don't have it in me to put up with the trolls. You know what I'm saying? Or to be a troll myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would love to be a troll, Kadeem. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I would absolutely love to screenshot and record and come back with all these receipts. So, matter of fact, I appreciate y'all. All the Dolphin fans that are keeping receipts and going at these boys' domes, I appreciate y'all. Keep the receipts, keep coming with them. Matter of fact, next episode, I'm going to shout out some specific people who have retweeted some receipts that I appreciate y'all, what's the word, man? Y'all just the fortitude to get through all of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate all y'all, but at the same time, shout out to King of Finland, because somebody came at him and he said, "Oh, Yak, yards after catch." Remember, once upon a time, our team was going to be a running team, Kadeem? Oh, yeah. They're not going to ask Tua to do much. It's going to be a running team, and he's just going to have to hand the ball off. He's going to be a game manager that doesn't have to do anything. Remember that, Kadeem? Definitely not the case now. Or it was going to be, they're just going to throw at the line of scrimmage a lot, and there's going to be a lot of yak yards, and Tua's not going to be asked to do much. He's not going to have to win the games. Boy, Tua done won some games for us, bro. He done came back and really did his thing in a couple of these games. King of Finland on Twitter, King of Finland, PHINLAND, hit us with the percentage of passing yards from yak in the NFL. Jimmy Garoppolo, 60% of his passing yards have come from yak, yards after catch. You would thought Tua would have led this category, right? Like, oh, he's the quarterback that's handicapped, so it's going to be a lot of yards after catch. You know who's next? Justin Herbert. 56% of his passing yards came after the catch. Zach Wilson, 55%. Patrick Mahomes at 54%. Kyler Murray at 53%. Jalen Hurts at 52%. Joe Burrow at 51%. Trevor Lawrence at 49%. If I'm running long, my bad. Tua's just not on this list anywhere. Let's keep going. Kirk Cousins at 48%. Tom Brady at 47%. Derek Carr at 45%. Josh Allen at 42% of his passing yards are coming from yak, or is coming from yak. Tua Ninga Manu Olipola Tungavaloa at 35% of his passing yards are coming from yak. Is coming from yak. What is 30 yards? Are coming from yak. Right? So listen, I'm just saying, there's narratives that people are going to run with, but yak isn't one of them. Dolphins being a running team isn't one of them. You just have to accept. And it's okay to say, we have a quarterback. Just say it. It's all right. Y'all are all right to say it like, hey, we actually got a quarterback. It's okay to say we have a quarterback. You don't have to keep coming with narratives. It's cool.
It's one of those things where, some of the big plays the Dolphins are getting, I actually do wish there was more yak. I do want to see Waddle and he'll break one, like make a guy miss. I'm not going to cry about it. Because, I'm not trying to transition away to another point. But it's people that turn around and go, trade Mike Gesicki because he gets no yards after the catch. I don't care. Like, it's 3rd and 17. Gesicki gets a first down. Oh, it's not good enough. I want yak. He just got a first down. Like, why do we want... Like, Gesicki isn't a yards after the catch type of tight end, but he still has the best hands of the team.
Never was.
And he secures first down. Why? Like, yes, I'm not saying we can't want more from our players, but it's one of those things where people aren't watching Dolphins games, Dolphins offense or Dolphins defense. They're just not. They are watching the box score or projections of what they think should be happening, and then using their own narrative inside of their heads to beat down the Miami Dolphins. And it's fine. It doesn't bother me. I'm like you. I don't have the energy. I don't have the self-esteem. I don't have a lot of things to be arguing with people on social media. I'm the kind of person who will see a comment or a tweet, go to respond and go, you know what? It's not worth it. Because 9 times out of 10, the other person's going to either, one, get personal, or 2, completely change the argument. I'm like, okay, yeah, at this point, I don't actually care no more. So it's one of those things where the Dolphins don't have as high as percentage yards after the catch as people expected. That doesn't mean the Dolphins are doing a bad thing, if that makes sense.
Hey, you know what else people didn't expect? They didn't expect the team that we have right now. And not only that, this time last year at the trade deadline, do you remember what was going on at the trade deadline this time last year? A year ago. Do you remember?
So I've seen the tweets, so I feel like I'm kind of cheating the answer. But yeah, the Dolphins were 1-7. Everyone was like, Tua's not it, despite the fact that he was injured and not playing. It was Deshaun Watson.
Why was he injured and not playing? Let's get some stuff clear.
So he took a brutal hit in the Buffalo Bills game. Actually, no. Tua was playing at this point because the Dolphins
he just came back from the finger.
Yeah.
Right. So I was trying to get to the point that Flores didn't want him to play yet. Like, yo, we don't want Tua to play. And actually, you was just about to get into why Flores didn't want him to play. So go ahead and tell us why. Flores didn't want Tua to play.
Around the trade deadline, it was Deshaun Watson. Every day it was beat writers saying today's the day. This is the week. The Dolphins are going to make the move for Watson, all that kind of stuff. And it just never happened. But yeah, this time last year, the Dolphins season was essentially over. They were 1-7, and some fans, whether they want to admit it now or not, were absolutely begging the Dolphins to trade for Deshaun Watson.
In the midst of begging for Deshaun Watson, there was always Tua, ain't it? We need a quarterback. Go get Deshaun Watson. Trade 3 first-round picks for him. So there would be no Tyreek Hill. There would be no Bradley Chubb. There would be no knocking on the door of a Super Bowl right now. Or, my bad, I done jumped the gun. Of the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Because Watson would have been chilling at the crib like we are watching football for 13 weeks or 11 weeks or however long he is suspended for. And our future would definitely not be looking as bright as it is right now. So another thing, Kadeem, I don't know if you peep, but I got something yellow around my neck. Can you see it, Kadeem?
It looks like it's a string. I'm going to assume it's either a whistle or a lanyard around your neck.
I'm not going to blow the whistle, bro. But you know what happens when I had this whistle on? I got to switch my hats. Give me 1 second.
As Charlie switches his hats, I don't know if you've seen it very quickly. There's a segment on ESPN. Oh, you can't even hear me. There's a segment on ESPN, and you mentioned Bradley Chubb's name, and someone on there said that Bradley Chubb is a depth piece for the Dolphins, and everyone's just like, you're on big old ESPN saying that the Dolphins just traded a first-round pick, paid $119 million over 5 years for a depth piece. They have Andy Van Ginkel as a depth piece. Again, what are you doing? But that's neither here nor there. I know Tom Bolton right now is delighted with what you're currently wearing. So if you're not watching on YouTube, we say the same thing every single week. Jump over to YouTube, like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment. All the visuals are here. My beautiful face, Charlie's face.
Yo, I can't have a beautiful face too.
My luscious, epic beard. Charlie's little thing.
Yo, I got my goatee pretty long, bro. You acting right now, bro. This is slander. I don't appreciate this, bro.
I had that when I was 13.
Are you finished?
I'm finished.
Listen, so what better way to transition into my conductor's hat, which is me role playing into the Chris Greer engineering the Chris Greer train, and going from the conversation of Tua to building around Tua. And I'm not on Twitter like that. You know I'm not on Twitter like that, Kadeem. And the past 2-3 days, I've been liking some stuff, retweeting some stuff. I actually put a couple of my own tweets out there. I don't do that much. And one of those tweets said, if you were one of those people that did not believe Tua is the franchise, that conversation is over with now. You can still not believe Tua is the franchise, but just know we're going all in on Tua now. We traded all the compensation away to build a supporting cast to make a run in this 2-year to 2.5-year window that we have with Tua as our quarterback. And if you look at the pieces around Tua, like everybody's young and everybody is under contract until like 2025, 26, some under like 224. And even still, you can work. Well, my boy Chris Greer could work his magic and then manipulate some of the machinations of the contracts, right? So here we are. How about this, Kadeem? Bradley Chubb comes in. We offer one for him, trade Chase Edmonds for him, and everyone is skeptical. Like, hey, I don't know about this Bradley Chubb dude. What are we going to get for Bradley Chubb? Or what are we getting out of Bradley Chubb? Shout out to Jason Keck. Jason Keck gets a bunch of mentions on this podcast. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to you, bro. So now this is pass rush win rate. Say that 3 times fast. Pass rush win rate. All right. And this is the top 3 players in the NFL. Their pass rush win rate. Micah Parsons, 32%. Myles Garrett, 29%. And Bradley Chubb at 26%. Dog is not dropping that back in the coverage. And if he does, we're gonna have problems. And I'm be fair. This also says, this is according to Next Gen Stats. Jalen Phillips is 4th at 25%. Now I want to be fair. I was under the impression that Jalen Phillips was 10th in the league at pass rush win rate. So for him to be 4th on this list, there's a discrepancy, if you ask me. But you about to say something, Kadeem?
Well, when you mentioned it, again, I've seen that list, and I was going to ask who's 4th, because Dolphins fans have rightfully told the world that the Dolphins have, in terms of like wide receiver with the most yards, have 2 of the top 4 in Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill, and then in what's that you're saying? Defensive
pass rush
win rate. Yeah, 2 of the top 4 in Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips.
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, we had the discussion the other week where we was like, Phillips is getting to the quarterback despite the fact that he's spending way too much time in coverage. So if you pin his air back and say, go get that quarterback, you would like to think those stats would improve. Now, again, I get it. In this Josh Boyer system, to disguise some of your looks, your defensive ends are going to drop into coverage. Friend of the podcast, OJ McDuffie, it sounds amazing to say that.
That's so good.
Friend of the podcast, OJ McDuffie, came on this episode. You haven't seen it yet. He came on the show. Has seen the episode, go back and watch it. He said on trade deadline day, he didn't think the Dolphins would be able to go out and find, or not he didn't think, but the ease in which the Dolphins could find a cornerback, because I mentioned DBs, find a cornerback or defensive player that can play this Josh Boyer scheme is quite, isn't as easy, because you will have, Christian Wilkins in coverage and stuff like that. I say all of that to say this. You've seen Phillips and Chubb's numbers. I understand you want to get cute. I don't think it should be a case of, if they're on the field, you must rush the passer. But let's not be too cute when you have 2 guys who are really, really, really good at winning their one-on-one, battles on the edge.
Bro, I don't care what y'all do or what the Dolphins do. I'm not trying to see Bradley Chubb in coverage, bro. And I understand the scheme. I understand the hybrid. I understand the looks and the disguises and all that good stuff. Bro, just put your hand in the dirt and go. Same thing with Jalen Phillips. I want to see the NASCAR package, bro. This is going to be, you ever seen you know what? Shout out to all my Florida Panther fans out there that rock with hockey. This is going to be like a line change in hockey. Like, you're going to have Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb on the ends, and they're going to do a line change. And then with fresh tires, they're going to come in like a pit stop. You're going to see Melvin Ingram and Emmanuel Ogbah come in like, yo, we're fresh. We're ready to go. This is going to be the NASCAR package. Like, let's go. Fresh tires, fresh ends. Let's go. Matter of fact, let me see if I can call Chris Gray right now. Hold on. Let's see if we get Chris Gray on the phone. Let's see. Hold on. Put this on speaker. See my dog pick up. Can you hear that, Kadeem?
I can hear that.
We're going to see Chris Gray pick up. Go Time Dolphins, Miami Dolphins podcast. That goes not only across the pond. Oh, I got a text. I thought it was him. I did. I had to look at the phone. Let's see. I don't think it is around dinner time. He's probably eating dinner with the family.
Do you know what? It's not just that. The guy, people said he's been sleeping the past few weeks, not getting trades done. He makes a major trade on
Please leave your message for 305.
Don't put his number on blast like that.
Hold on. Hey, we had to mute the phone. Hold on. Hey, Chris, what up, man? This is Charlie Touche, Go Time Dolphins with my dog Kadeem. Say what's up, Kadeem.
Yo, what's good?
Hey, yeah, man. You know, it's just the two homies. Hey, we was just wondering, bro, is it possible for you, like, to just keep Bradley Chubb's hand in the dirt and don't ever drop him back into coverage? I know that's more like a Josh Boyer request, but you know what I'm saying? If you could pass that down to Josh and tell him I said it, bro, you know, the friends at Go Time Dolphins would really appreciate that. So, hey, I apologize for hitting you up so late. You're probably eating dinner with the family, but you got my number, man. Call me back. I appreciate you. Already. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just saying, you know, people said he'd been sleeping the past few weeks, not getting trades done. He got the Jeff Wilson trade done. He got the Bradley Chubb trade done. Let the guy sleep. He deserves, and he also just got, you know, or I'm sure it's part of the discussion about getting Bradley Chubb that deal. Let Chris Gray rest now. He needs basically all the rest because he's got a lot of maneuvering to do in terms of restructuring contracts. Obviously, John Baker just restructured his contracts, but we need to be in a situation where, in an ideal world, we can keep some of the guys that might be leaving in free agency, make some big splashes in free agency, and try and get a first round pick. Because, listen, it means I can sleep on, you know, draft night, but I quite enjoy having a pick in round one and us doing a podcast straight away. So I know you just called him, but let him sleep in it. Let the guy rest. He works hard. Man.
So let's kind of talk about what this means, though, Kadeem. Because realistically, the NFL cap, salary cap, is unlike any other league. You got a luxury tax in NBA. You can go over the cap in the NBA. Baseball, there isn't a cap. You can just pay everybody whatever you want. NFL, the cap is more elastic. You know what I'm saying? You can kind of stretch it out. You can kind of get around it. You can maneuver some things. But it's still real. And you can't just have everybody you want on your team and pay them whatever you want either. What does this mean when it comes to cap calculator, right? Do we think we're going to be able to pay all of these players forever and ever? Amen. Like, something has to give eventually, right?
So it's a really good question. And Daniel Oyefusi tweeted this today. So he said, someone asked him, what does this deal leave for re-signing our own in-house guys or any FAs this offseason? He replied saying, the Dolphins have 24.2 mil in cap space for 2023 per over the cap. I assume it will be a low cap hit for Chubb next season. Gesicki is the only impending FA that would take a chunk off the cap if the Dolphins kept him. The team could extend Christian Wilkins and lower his cap number in 2023, plus cut restructure guys. All that to say, Miami is fine. The core of this team is signed up for years to come. So I had a conversation with a friend earlier, and I was like, people like Andrew Van Ginkel probably wasn't going to get extended regardless of Bradley Chubb coming in the building or not. So, you know, there'll be guys like Van Ginkel, Teddy Bridgewater, a couple of guys who you probably move on from next year and the team largely stays the same in terms of starters and stuff like that. If, according to Daniel Oyefusi, is correct, if you can extend Christian Wilkins now and lower his cap for next year, that might be something you can do. If your boy Chris Greer can work his magic and get Mike Gesicki onto a team-friendly deal, brilliant. But people that like, you might have to lose Javon Holland, Brandon Jones, all that kind of stuff. One, the contracts are a few years down the line. And again, by then, you would have to imagine the likes of Byron Jones, Xavier Howard, Emmanuel Ogba, maybe even Tyreek Hill and Teron Armstead, Jerome Baker. You can restructure contracts so you can, this team at the moment will want to win a ring together. Some guys might be more willing to take some money to bonuses to make sure they can keep some of these guys around and stuff like that. So I was under the impression the Dolphins were in cap trouble next year. It seems it's not as bad as we first feared. However, there probably will be some major restructures that come in the next few months, I guess.
You know why it's not as bad, Kadeem? Because we have a GM named Chris Greer. That's why. So all of Chris Greer slander needs to stop too. And this is why. I need everyone to keep in mind that Chris Greer did all of this. And I want to be fair. He missed on a lot of picks too. I don't want to say a lot of picks. He missed on some important picks. That's what I want to say. He missed on some important picks. And you don't get to escape that. You know what I'm saying? Because it shows forever. So here's my thing. This is why Chris Greer is still nice. Keep in mind, Kadeem, we're still supposed to have another first-round pick this year coming up. And we're supposed to have another hold on. We're supposed to have another third-round pick this year as well. So imagine all of this movement, and you still have picks in the draft coming up. But for those who paid attention, we all know that we do not have those picks because the NFL took them from us, right? So Chris Greer got us all the way here, built this team, got us, and Bradley Chubb signed through 2027. Shout out to Al Butler of All About Sports. Bradley Chubb signed through 2027. Tyreek Hill signed through 26. Teron Armstead signed through 26. Xavier Howard signed through 2026. Javon Holland through 24. Tua Tagovailoa Olipola Tungavaloa signed through 23 with the option to sign through 24 because he has a fifth-year option. Jalen Waddle signed through 24 with an option to be signed through 25. That is already the core of the team. And look how long we have those players without even changing anything up. So if the number that you heard was correct at $24 million on the cap, you gotta imagine, and for my dollar, I believe we're gonna go out and get O-line help in free agency. So where we're not waiting on the draft. You don't got to trade somebody to do this. You don't got to trade somebody to do that. You're gonna go get an O-lineman, and for my dollar, it's probably gonna cost like $12+ million. So that $24 million comes down to 12. But remember, and this is my opinion now, I don't believe we're gonna re-sign Mike Gesicki. So the 15 that he's getting right now, he won't get that next year. Teddy Two Gloves. Shout out to Teddy Two Gloves. Hometown hero, my dog. You from down the street. We stayed literally 16 minutes away from each other, right? He's most likely not going to be on the team next year. You don't have to pay him $7 million. Skylar Thompson's going to step up. He's going to be the backup now. Unless someone wants to come calling for Skylar Thompson and we move him for a draft pick, right? But who knows? It gives you flexibility. Who else we got? Chase Edmonds was making $7.5 million. About $7.5 million. The past 3 years, the Miami Dolphins has had a running back make over $5.5 million, and Jordan Howard, Malcolm Brown, is it? What's his name? Malcolm Brown at 5.5, and Chase Edmonds coming in at like 7.5. I believe it was 7.5. So that's not going to be a thing anymore. So this year, the running back room, with Myles Gaskin making what he's making and Savon Ahmed also making what he's making, the running back room alone was at 12.5 on the cap. That's not going to be a thing next year. We're not going to go sign another older, I don't want to say older running back. We're not going to go sign a running back at $5.5 million anymore because we have Coach McDaniel who specializes in the running game. He was the run game coordinator. That was his title. before he became an offensive coordinator, run game coordinator. So he knows what he wants. He went and got Mostert for $1.5 million. He just went and got Jeff Wilson Jr. for pennies on the pound. Shout out to pennies on the pound for the Cross the Pond listeners. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, the man knows what he's doing. I imagine we're going to bring in UDFAs and probably a drafted running back as well. That's going to bring the cap down in the running back room. We're going to be way under $12 million next year in the running back room. Who else is probably not coming back? Now, you can eat dead cap on Cedric Wilson. You can. You would not love it. You most likely have to trade him, though. You probably wouldn't cut him. You have to trade him, keep the dead cap down. And now, for just in my opinion, the tough ones are, do you sign and extend Wilkins? Or, which I think is going to happen, you're going to sign Zach Sealer instead of Wilkins, and you're basically going to hold them to up against each other. Like, hey, we're going to keep one. Who's going to help us out? Who's going to take less for us to keep you? And then we're going to get a deal off of one of those, and the other one's going to walk. Unfortunately, however, you'll get a compensatory pick for that. You see what I'm saying? It's chess, not checkers. Last but not least, to go into this segue, if you heard Chris Greer's media availability, the man said verbatim, we feel good about what we have in Jalen, Andrew, Melvin, and now Chubb. And I cannot make this up. And I had to rewind it, Kadeem. Rewind, like, do people say rewind anymore? Because you don't really have to rewind anything, right? You don't rewind tapes. You don't rewind DVDs. You don't rewind VHS. What are we rewinding? You skip back, right? Do people say rewind anymore?
Me and Hannah watched House of Dragons, and we rewound it because for certain bits. So,
did you rewind it though, Kadeem, or did you skip back?
No, we rewound it. So rewind, yeah.
No, bro. I think you skip back with the remote and just skip. I don't know if that's really rewind.
No, like the two arrow backwards buttons, like we.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So yeah, I understand. Like you could, like, obviously the physical nature of, you know, a tape rewinding is no longer there. Yeah. But we now rewind live TV. So I understand what you mean, but yeah.
All right, so I had to kick it back. How about that? And listen to Chris Greer say this again. We feel good about what we have in Jalen, Andrew, Melvin, and now Chubb. I'm like, it sounds like there's a name missing. Did you hear a name missing, Kadeem? We feel good about what we have in Jalen, Andrew, Melvin, and now Chubb.
Oh, 100%. Because Andrew Van Ginkel's a free agent. Emmanuel Ogba's being paid, and that's not there,
bro. So the man did not even mention, and I thought we were gonna hear this a little bit more. I ain't gonna lie. I was surprised that we got to the time of recording this and it still didn't get covered. Really, am I blowing it out of proportion? I don't know. I'm not trying to stir nothing up, but I'm gonna be real with you. Emmanuel Ogba is gonna be thinking, "Damn, I just got this bag, and they just got my replacement. It can't be looking too good right now." So what is this gonna do, Kadeem? Competition breeds, what do they call it? Results. There's a quote. There's a quote. But you know, like now, so Andrew Ogba's gonna be like, Emmanuel Ogba's gonna be like, hey, hold on. I just got this bag. I gotta perform. I'm gonna need to perform. You know what I'm saying? So when he does get his snaps, hopefully Ogba goes through the roof, and he wants to be the Ogba of 2021 and not the Ogba of 2022. But go ahead.
But it's funny, but when you mentioned all those players who were under contract, no one mentioned Byron Jones. Like, Byron Jones' name isn't on that list.
It's not, but I was talking about edge players just now. And then I know I did go through the list of the people who are here long term or locked in, I should say, contracts.
But that's what I meant. It's like Chris Greer didn't mention Emmanuel Ogba, and when people mention that list, they don't mention Byron Jones. So I don't know if it's a case of people aren't speaking about them because they're injured, and it's like, you know, out of sight, out of mind, or obviously that list of players who are under contract, they might not see Byron Jones as a key piece. Chris Greer might have accidentally forgot to mention Ogba because he's currently injured. But yeah, Van Ginkel was someone who, the moment Bradley Chubb signed that deal, there were people who were like, he might be traded today. So today being Tuesday, just like, it's a case of he's not going to get re-signed. Can you get a fourth back immediately? Because realistically, even if the money he gets in free agency might get you a stick for something like that. So yeah, I would like to think it was more a case of your boy Chris Greer just accidentally forgetting Ogba, but who knows?
I don't know. I mean, but that's a tough one. I ain't gonna lie to you. So all in all, there's cap space that can be created. So for those who say the cap isn't real, I can assure you it's very real. But at the same time, we have to just maneuver our way through it. And hopefully we could come home with one of these rings. Hopefully it's this year. And I was wrong about my prediction. A year off, my bad. Hopefully. And if not, then Charlie Touche said we're going to the Super Bowl in 2024 and 2024. So we're good, man. You got anything else you want to bring up before we get into No Huddle and talk about the Chicago Bears? I know we had a lot to cover.
There was some Bears stuff I wanted to mention overall, so I guess we can do that after No Huddle.
All right, let's do it.
Cool. Oh. No huddle, no huddle, no huddle.
Good thing. I mean, I guess renaming it "Hurry Up" wouldn't be wise since we don't really hurry up into the No Huddle.
No, and plus, like, even though you want to rush into the huddle, you don't want to be silly. You don't want to make mistakes, and then you give away penalties.
Yeah, you got to make sure you line up right.
Exactly. You look to the ref. You good? Am I good? Am I good? Am I good? Am I good? Can I stand here? And then, as you say, if you're a defensive lineman, you just look down. Ball. Yep, I'm not over the line.
That's it.
Am I good?
The ball's right there in front of you.
I'm telling you now, yeah. The Dolphins haven't announced it yet, but there's been an extra guy in training this week. They had a brand new coach. And from what I'm hearing, this coach hasn't been doing his job. Now, I'm not going to say he's going to get fired on Monday, but all I'm saying is that some of these coaches better watch out. And it's funny, before I do start No Huddle, you see the Lions fired their DB coach on Monday.
I did.
Yeah. You come up against Waddle and Hill, boy, and jobs are on the line. But in terms of jobs are on the line, Charlie, the weather on Sunday in Chicago is 65 degrees Fahrenheit. What is that in Celsius?
I don't know how I forget this every single time. It's incredible that I forget that we do this. 65 degrees Fahrenheit in Celsius. So 32 and a half minus, I'm going to say it's from 17 to 19 degrees Celsius. So I'm going to ride with 18 degrees Celsius.
Ding, 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 ding.
Let's go, bro. Listen, man, Tua back, bro. Easy money back. The Celsius, the Fahrenheit is back. The winning streak is back. Bro, I'm out here, man. Like, I function better when I got a quarterback.
Oh, maneuver around that pocket. I like to see it. I also, do you know what I like about that?
What you got?
You didn't fake your reads. I saw you go for your reads. I heard you. You didn't fake your reads. So well done. That's what I like to see from my quarterback. None of this fake read nonsense. None of this, he's faking his reads. None of that. I saw you go for your progressions. I saw that. I like that. So the Miami Dolphins injury report as of Thursday. River Craycraft did not participate on Thursday with an illness. Friend of the podcast, Austin Jackson, did not participate with an ankle injury. All these guys were limited to Ron Armstead, Tanner Connor, Raekwon Davis, Clayton Fejedelem, Eric Rowe, Brandon Snell, Durham Smythe, Andrew Van Ginkel, and then all these guys were full participants. Jerome Baker, friend of the podcast, Javon Holland, Emmanuel Ogba, Zach Sealer, Jalen Waddles, Christian Wilkins, and these guys were on the injury report, but it seems to be completely fine now. Bradley Chubb, Xavier Howard, Melvin Ingram, John Jenkins, Raheem Mostert, and Jeff Wilson. And all the players I just mentioned seemed that they were on vet rest. In terms of the Bears, very quickly, Eddie Jackson was limited on Thursday, and Tevin Jenkins was limited on Wednesday, but he was back on Thursday. But that injury was his back injury, which has seemed to be plagued him from his rookie year. But that's all I've got for No Huddle. What do you have for fantasy?
I think it should be established that Tua is a must start in all leagues, no matter what number of teams you have in your league. Tua is a must start. I'm starting Tua. He's a lock. I am starting Mostert in leagues greater than 12. So if you're in a 14-team league, you're going to start Mostert. If you're in a 12-team league, he's a flex consideration. I can see him in the flex. Jeff Wilson Jr. may get some touches, but I don't think it'll really go into Mostert's touches, really. So Mostert's going to get off. When I say get off, he's going to do enough. He's going to do what he has to do. Jeff Wilson Jr. isn't a concern yet. You got two locks. Zoo Miami. You already. The Cheetah and the Penguin. And for my dollar, 12 teams or more, we're starting Gesicki. So the Giraffe makes his appearance as well. I'm not starting Jason Sanders. Find yourself another kicker. It's outdoors. It's going to could be a bit nippy. Let's go with starting the Dolphins defense. We have shut out the past two opponents at the half. Well, last two opponents we shut them out at halftime, haven't put up any points. Justin Fields is going to struggle with us. He's going to get off on the floor on the ground. And going over to the Chicago Bears, I don't mind starting Justin Fields because he should get some rushing yards, probably a rushing touchdown too, if you're feeling lucky about an anytime touchdown from Justin Fields. You're going to start Montgomery. You're going to start Herbert in the 12-team or more league. I'm out on Mooney. I can't do Mooney. Like, he's too moody, and I can't do it. Like, ain't no way. Like, I drafted him. I thought he was going to have a heck of a season. The man has a judge machine inside of his house, Kadeem. What receiver has a judge machine inside of the house? Like, I'm watching TV. Boom. Let me get that. Boom. Let me get it. So I was in on Darnell Mooney before the season. Not anymore. I can't do it. I think that's all I'm starting from Chicago. That's all I got from Chicago, for real. I'm not starting their defense either because I think we should get off on these boys.
Are you not starting Armstrong?
Armstrong?
Yeah.
Who's Armstrong?
So you haven't seen it, have you? Colin the Clown was talking about the Bears offense and kept on mentioning this running back called Armstrong, and no one picked him up on it. No one in the studio was like, dude, who is Armstrong? He mentioned all these weapons that Justin Fields got. All these weapons. Herbert, Mooney, Armstrong. And everyone's just like, dude, who is Armstrong? Now, we aren't perfect on Go Time Dolphins.
No, we're not.
But if there's a player, we'll be like, is that correct? Or I think you might have got it wrong.
Yeah, because I used to call Justin Fields Josh Fields all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy that was with Colin the Clown never stopped him and went, dude, who is Armstrong? Colin Clown over and over. He said this Armstrong guy 4 times. So the Dolphins scouting report, look out for Armstrong. You heard it here on Go Time Dolphins. Make sure Armstrong does not go off on Sunday against the Dolphins defense. If Armstrong goes off, Colin the Clown is not. I told you the Bears have Armstrong, so look out for Armstrong.
So you might wonder about Chase Claypool. He's not going to get enough targets to do anything yet. He's still learning. They'll probably put him in on a couple. Matter of fact, if I had Claypool may have 11 snaps at the most. 11 snaps, 4 targets at the most.
The rest of the targets are going towards Armstrong. So tell me your over-under on Armstrong touchdowns in easy money.
Woo, I can't tell you my over-under on Armstrong touchdowns, but I got a question for you, though, Kadeem. And this is a legit question. Emmanuel Ogbah, with the addition of Bradley Chubb, knowing that his job is on the line, over or under a half a sack this game?
I'm going to go under.
No, Ogbah's not getting a sack.
I think it's more a case of I don't think Chubb out snaps him. I think they'll ease Chubb into it and stuff like that. But I think we'll have himself a game. There might be some like QB hits and stuff like that. But I think he'll just miss out. And I think especially with Field being so elusive, I think that could go against him.
I mean, I don't know. Phil's getting a little sloppy back there. I don't know. Yeah, all right. So obviously, this is not a part of. I really wouldn't bet on this. And matter of fact, I wouldn't bet on it. But I would stay away from Ogbah getting a sack. But I gotta imagine he's motivated now. So yeah, man. Easy money. We did so good last week, y'all. Like we're back. We're streaking with green arrow going in the right direction. We cashed out on so many bets, like 7 of them. I think it was a lot. This week, something to look for. Tua over 7.5 rushing yards. I had to think about this for a second. Do I even want Tua to rush the ball? Because I really don't. But the against Pittsburgh, he had 4 rushes, and against the Lions, he had 5. And I'm like, yo, that's a sneaky 5 rushes, right? So 7.5 rushing yards over under is something to consider. I would take the over on that. Miami money line, that's a lot. Miami spread 5, it's 4.5 right now. I'm taking that. Tyreek Hill over 86.5 receiving yards. Cash out on it. Easy money. I like it. Jalen Waddle over 67.5 receiving yards. I'm gonna stay away from it. I know we're living this high. I know it's like, oh man, everything's doing good and we're just smooth sailing and 2 of this, 2 of that. We got our quarterback back. We're streaking. How often is this gonna happen? You know what I'm saying? So in the world of betting, I know we're feeling real good about that Alec Ingold anytime touchdown. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I would stay away from Jalen Waddle over 67.5 touchdowns. But my lock.
Wait.
My bad, 67.5 yards.
I'm going to say, yards.
Hey, you could give me 7.5 touchdowns, but we're in a good spot. So I'm staying away from that. But my lock of the week, easy money bet of the week, is the exact same one from last week. Tua over 1.5 touchdowns passing touchdowns. He's going to cash us out. We're counting the money. We're laughing on the way to the bank. I like it. You love it. I like it. Hey, DraftKings looking out. I'm going to tell you like this. They got a same game parlay where Tyreek Hill goes over 100 yards receiving and Jalen Waddle goes over 100 yards receiving, and it's plus 425, meaning you put down 100 and you get back 425, returning 525. That's interesting for me and my dollar. I wouldn't do it. I'm still living on my Alec Ingold high. You know what I'm saying? We appreciate you here on Go Time Dolphins, Alec Ingold. But here's something else. Same game parlay. I already gave you my lock. I already gave you my easy money bet. You know what I'm saying? But this one is interesting. It's the same game parlay, and it has the Dolphins winning at halftime and the Dolphins winning at full time. Miami going over 20.5 total points. And this is my new one. And I'm not going to do this every week like I did with Alec Ingold, but I'm going to take this for the next 2 weeks. A Trent Sherfield touchdown, anytime touchdown. We're going to make up for the wrong that that happened last week. Trent Sherfield's going to get in the box within the next 2 weeks. We're going to cash out on Trent Sherfield. So that anytime that same game parlay brings back plus 800. Don't go crazy on these bets. It's not that safe. Pump the brakes. Last but not least, we got another same game parlay. Miami halftime, Miami full time. Then we got Miami minus 4.5. We have Tua plus 2 touchdowns, or two touchdowns or more. And then we have Tua's longest pass of the game over 35 yards. That brings back plus 350. I like all of these. Every single one of them. Give me all of them. Now, the Trent Sherfield one, we might have to wait a week or two, but I like it. Let's do it.
Yeah. If you are watching on YouTube, scrolling at the bottom of the screen basically is the US and the UK National Gambling Helpline. So yeah, easy money. If you have the money, great. If you can afford to, great. If you have an issue, or if you feel you're addictive, get the help. I've heard some stories in the past few weeks alone of people having gambling addiction and not getting the help that they need. So it's not a joke, man.
Hey, the US number is down there, and the UK number is down there. Bet in moderation. And I don't know if you are new to the podcast. I had a little issue years ago, and I'm glad I got up out of there. But yeah, man, bet in moderation for sure. You want to go into bonus time, talk about the game? You want to stay on this side, Kadeem?
Let's go into bonus time. Let's chill. Let's relax. Let's
lay your head down.
Pretty much, throwing some Sade, some Jamiroquai.
No. Don't mention my girl Sade now.
I sent you the tweet. I sent you the tweet. Proof that even a couple of years ago, I was mentioning Sade. I knew Sade existed. And like I said, yes, people assume Sade is just a singer. Sade is a band. Same way Jamiroquai is not just JK. There is a group of them. That's why they're called Jamiroquai.
No, bro. Do not, I repeat, for the sake of my sanity, do not call Sade a band, bro. She's a person that has a band. Her name is Sade. Oh, you about to look it up?
Her name is Sade. Her name is Helen.
Helen Fleur Sade.
No, it's Helen Fuller. Okay, I can't pronounce that name.
It's Sade.
Sade.
Sade. Sade.
Yeah, but it's not like that's her middle name.
Yo, but it's like a long name cut down. It's like my name Charles, but y'all call me Charlie. It's the same thing. Yeah. Y'all call me Chuck.
Listen, if you Google Sade, they are a group, a band, or whatever it is. I understand that she's the most prominent, and people naturally assume
her last name is Adu too. So it's Helen Fleur Sade Adu. I'm lying?
No, you are in no way lying. All I'm saying, like I said, if you literally Google Sade, it says Sade band. Like, this is just.
Oh my goodness, I'm done.
But it's fine.
We're going in the bonus time, and everyone listening, please do not call Sade a band. She's a person, and she's coming out with another album, by the way. Like, congratulations. Like, lucky for us, we're going to get another Sade album. But y'all know what time it is. Stay positive. Test negative. For Kadeem Simmons, I'm Charlie Touche. Thank you for tuning in this time. Make sure you catch us next time on Go Time. Already.
Make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. Go. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Go. Don't waste no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time.
So what do you make of the Bears' season so far and our chances of coming away with a dub?
Man, I think they don't have enough for us. They don't have enough firepower on either side of the ball. They just got rid of Roquan Smith. They got rid of Quinn. They got rid of Robert Quinn. They got rid of, I guess they didn't get rid of, but they brought in Chase Claypool. They have Darnell Mooney. I like where they're going. Cool. I like the trajectory. They're not gonna lay down, you know what I'm saying? But for us right now, they ain't got enough for us. I ain't gonna lie. And I know we were talking on the podcast, taking the Lions lightly. Maybe not so lightly, but at the same time, they don't have enough for us right now. The best thing they got going, Kadeem, is the weather. And it's being outdoors and okay, it may not be ideal conditions. That's the best thing they got for us.
It's a strange one because I don't think the Dolphins will take them lightly. I do think if you're not careful, you can allow Justin Fields to escape the pocket too much. The Dolphins do have some kind of issues with containing somewhat mobile quarterbacks over the past few years. But the one thing the Dolphins have done amazingly over the past, not just few weeks, but I think this season as a whole, is adjusting the Dolphins defense, adjusting in the second half and cleaning up the major mistakes that they were making in the first half. And again, it's one of those games in which if the Dolphins can contain Justin Fields to stay inside the pocket and become a traditional pocket passer, and he beats us that way, I'll say, you know what? I did not see that coming. Fair enough. Just don't allow, second and 10, third and 10 to become first down because someone broke containment and, there wasn't a spy up against Justin Fields and he's able to scramble for a first down. Let him beat you with his arm. The Dolphins are so long overdue a turnover or interception. It's beyond the joke. I feel like that season where we had an interception or turnover every single game, we used up all our luck because for whatever reason, we cannot. Same way I went to the season saying, can the Dolphins offense get big chunk plays? Can we get, deep throws? Can we run a traditional NFL offense in the year 2022? Can we get a turnover? Even the bummiest teams on defense get a turnover because the ball just happens to fall in someone's hands. Can we get interception? Can we said it last week, can we get back to Dolphins playing complementary football on offense, defense, and special teams? Let's not allow a kickoff return on the opening play. Let's not allow guys to run 50 yards downfield, from kickoffs. Let's not allow a team to put up 14 points because the defense is still sleeping. And as our friend OJ McDuffie said, let's cut down on these penalties. It's not difficult. These are easily fixable penalties to stop giving away. If Mike McDaniel needs to hire that shady-looking coach who joined the team on Monday, fire that shady-looking coach who joined the team on Monday.
That was beautiful, Kadeem. Listen, part of the reason why I'm staying away from Jalen Waddle going over 67.5 touchdowns, no, I'm playing, over 67.5 yards receiving is because, and I'm not saying he's going under, I'm just saying I'm staying away from it. The part of the reason is because I don't know that there's going to be opportunities to where we're going to have to bomb it up and throw so much to where both of these guys are going to go over 100 yards again. You know what I'm saying? I think we should have a pretty comfortable game to where we can do what we want against the Bears, not in an arrogant way, but this is one of those games where let's focus. This win goes into the win column and not slack on the team. And all of a sudden we lost the game we weren't supposed to lose and we're one game away from the playoffs again. Let's not do that again. You know what I'm saying? So this should be a comfortable win. I don't know that we're going to have the opportunities to throw it so many times this game. So that's why I'm staying away from Tua's passing yardage as well, because he might not have to throw over 350 yards today, Sunday. That being said, we're not here yet, but the Dolphins offense is almost the Golden State Warriors of basketball, bro. At any given time, these boys can go off. You know what I'm saying? And I remember when people were saying that about the Kansas City Chiefs. Like, they could put up 21 points in the quarter. It's Mahomes and Tyreek Hill, and you know what I'm saying? They were so volatile. And all of a sudden, with Tua at quarterback, this offense looks sexy, bro. So don't get it twisted. These boys could go out for $150 a piece any given moment, any given Sunday. So yeah, man. Shout out to Rado the Boss. He has something interesting, Kadeem. Rado the Boss on IG said he has a thought that he kind of knows why Eric Rowe didn't play. You know, Eric Rowe didn't play against the Lions.
Yeah.
He said maybe he was on the trade block and was supposed to get traded, and they wanted to sit him out and not have him get hurt. And I'm thinking there could have been something there because he's in a contract year, most likely not coming back to the team. So they could have moved him at the trade deadline. Now, the thing is, if he plays again and doesn't miss a game and dresses every game for the rest of the season, I ain't gonna lie, that has merit to it. I really believe, because there's no way. Why you sit the tight end stopper against Hawkinson? You know what I'm saying? So there may be some truth to that, and I kind of like it. So shout out to Rado the Boss. That was pretty intriguing to me.
The thing is, that did cross my mind. At first, I was like, has he secured a trade? But I kind of feel like, not that it would have come out, but I kind of feel like we would have heard a whisper. Again, that's not to say that because we haven't heard anything, that's not true. But at some point, I was like, yeah, maybe he was leaving. He was like, you know what? We have an offer. We don't want to risk you hurting yourself. So, and especially when he was like, I'm just as shocked as you are. But, Verone McKinley didn't play badly. So maybe they just said, you know what? And like we said at the time, it was more an elevation of others, which unfortunately meant him getting demoted. But hopefully, yeah, we're very interested to see if he dresses up on Sunday.
Hey, you ever seen Wolf of Wall Street? Oh my goodness, Kadeem, bro. Like as I asked that question, I'm like, you know what? I'm blowing it because I'm pretty sure he's never seen the Wolf of Wall Street. And I try to stop mid question, but I couldn't. But anyway, there's a Dolphin fan on Twitter put out a tweet with Mike Gesicki's face on it, and over Leonardo DiCaprio's picture in Wolf of Wall Street, and it basically says the most famous quote from the movie. It says, "I'm not effing leaving." Like, I'm not leaving. And I know you don't understand it, but there's people who's laughing right now while they listen to the podcast.
I've seen that GIF used or that video used enough in various contexts.
Bro, and listen, it's so, I literally laughed out loud when I seen it, bro.
And it's interesting that Chris Greer did address and was like, yeah, we weren't shopping him. Like he weren't going nowhere.
He said we didn't receive any calls from Mike Gesicki and we were not actively shopping him. And I think there's truth to that too, Kadeem, because you see what we did with Devontae Parker. We traded Devontae Parker where he wanted to go. We wanted to make sure he landed on his feet and wanted to do right. This is Chris Greer's words, quote unquote, do right by Devontae Parker, meaning he was a part of the franchise and they, you respect him and wanted him to go where he wanted to go. And I got to imagine that's going to be the same for Mike Gesicki. We're not going to send Mike Gesicki to Houston. Like, yo, I holler at you, Mike. Thanks for nothing. Like, nah, bro, we're not going to do that. You know what I'm saying? So I think there is truth to that. And now at the end of the season, Mike Gesicki could do whatever he wants to do, go wherever he wants to go, take less in Miami if he chose to.
I was just going to say, last question from me. If you could put a percentage on the chances of Mike Gesicki staying in Miami, where would you put it?
I don't like this question because it's going to sound like I don't want Mike Gesicki here, and I absolutely would love to have Mike Gesicki here, and I wish there was a way that we can keep him here just because of who he is. But for the system, it's apparent. Like, we're not maximizing what he is in the system. We're not maximizing it. So unfortunately, the percentage of Mike Gesicki being here next season is 20%. maybe less, bro. It's not looking good that Mike Gesicki stays in Miami. Not only because he doesn't fit the system and Miami would not, I don't want to say care to re-sign him, but even if he took less to stay here, that's how much less is he going to take? He's going to go get $15 million in the open market, minimum $15 million. And I've been saying that for a while now. And you and Sherrod Steve was at my dome for it. But he's going to go make $15 million a year on the open market. And if he were to stay in Miami next year, I got to imagine they'll be like, hey, man, we got so many other people to pay. And we'd rather go young tight end, undrafted tight end, drafted tight end, whatever, and pay him pennies on the dollar and not have to pay you $11 million or even $10 million. Like Mike might say, man, I want to be here. I want to be a part of this. Tua's my guy. Darren Smart's here. I'll take $9 million. And I just think we can't do it. Like, we have people to pay and we have a scheme to cater to.
I have a feeling that there's an offer, or there will be an offer on the table, but what they will say to him is, we respect you too much and we want you to basically hit. And people are like, why would they do that for? You would try and keep your guys. Like, no, we know you can get more in the open market. You know you get more in the open market. So go test free agency. Go and see what you can get. And if it turns out that you want to return, that offer is on the table. If you go elsewhere and take the money, we will understand 100%. In an ideal world, we would pay you what you could offer, what you can get, at another team. Right now, we can't. This is the most we can offer you. Go out there, see what you can get. And, if this is goodbye, understand there was no hard feelings. We wish you all the best.
I don't want to say goodbye to Mike Gesicki yet, bro. I ain't ready. I'm not ready.
Boozy.